Howdy folks, welcome to Run 8. We're down here in Los Angeles, and this is the old ATSF, I believe it's called Malabar yard. And we're going to do some industry switching down here in LA today. We got a couple, I believe these are SD40s, SD40-2s? Yeah, SD40-2s. And I don't have the skin pack, these are both, I think older BNSF units. And I just don't have the skin pack for that, so that's why they've got the generic Run 8 paint on them. If you're not familiar with Run 8, you get basically all the rolling stock, and it works normally. They have extra things for sale. Not everything has a skin on it to match the prototype, if that makes sense. So I could buy a $20 skin pack for SD40-2s. I think there's actually 5 different packs. And it's got all the different, everything from, CSX, Conrail, BNSF, Santa Fe, all the old stuff throughout the different times. But everything still works the same. It just doesn't look like the BNSF unit, but it is. So we're here next to the Crap and Fart Porcelain Company. I hope that's real. I hope that's a real name. I've got milepost tags on, and we got the marker there for the Malabar yard. And we got Brian, is that you down there? So if you're familiar with Run 8, that'll make sense. Let's get the messages pop back up as my phone goes off. Trying to get some recording done here. It's always busy times at Casa Curbo. But anywho, we don't have to go too awful far, but I think the first thing we need to do is we need to break this train apart. Because we need to work some industries right here next to the yard, and then we're going to have to run down and switch ends and push the train back that way to work some of those industries. So let's get to cracking. I'm playing engineer and everything today. Now, if I remember right, we got to take this coil car and put it right over here. I'm going to do some flying around. One of the industries is right back there. Let me go ahead and turn on the car tags. Yeah, we got JRR. Goes right back over there. So we need to knock this coil car off and just run it over there and do a little bit of switching. Stick the empties in. So I kind of hate to dump the air in this train, but we only need one of those cars right now. The rest of the cars go. I guess there's a lot of different ways to do this. This may not be the most efficient way. But I'm going to go ahead and bring up my stats here. I usually have that in red. I'm going to try out white. Been watching a lot of Spur Gaming. He's been doing some mainline running. If you like Run 8 and especially mainline running, go check out Spur Gaming. I'll try to remember to drop a link in the description or a pinned comment. He's got some good videos. Been running some heavy freights. And he has some real-world railroad experience, so it's always entertaining. Watch him drive. Alright, we are lined up to come on out of here, so let's hop in the cab real quick. Get my light on. Let's make sure we're set up here. Let's get our gauge lights on. We can disengage the handbrakes. These cars, I think, still have some air. They've still got a full application, basically, on them. I'm going to go ahead and set... Come on. Go ahead and set a couple handbrakes on that cut. Just in case. But we're ready to head on down, so let's get on out of here. It's got the one car in tow. Kill the bell. And we'll get lined up. Let me just drop to the ground here. We'll get lined up. We got to go back around. Yeah, down this track here. So that one's good. Those are all going to be good. And then we need to throw this one. Get on down there. Looks like we might have a little bit of a grade here. Oh, we do have a grade. 0.6%. So we're going to be working on a grade. Let's just go to fly mode here. So get all the switches switched. Fighting a little bit of a grade. Always interesting when you have a yard on a grade. Alright. Half a car and that'll do. And we'll get that thrown and bring her on back. I feel like my frame rate's not as good as it usually is down here. Let's see, is it shift? Remember what it is. There it is. Yeah, we're just getting 50 or 60. That's not too bad. Train's gonna run away from me though if I'm not careful. Got that downhill action working for us. Alright, 10 is fine. Let's come on down. Now we've got some empties to pick up as well. You just stick that one coil car. Make sure I'm doing this right. Yeah, that's JRR. Looks like these need picked up and that needs pushed in as well. Yeah, the industry tracks are just those two. Okay. We got some setting here that needs spotted also. Fair enough. So I'll have to pull the empties out. Going a little fast here. I need to start playing engineer. There you go. You got her. Okay, we'll knock off the handbrakes. So we've got that siding there, but that belongs to another business. So I guess we ought to just pull the empties up out of here. There's probably a lot smarter way to do that. Let's grab these box cars. Should start rolling back. The grade's not quite as much down here. Still got a little bit of a grade though. Let's bring her on back to these box cars. And didn't check to see. Yeah, those don't have any air in them. I thought I gave her some throttle. I guess I didn't. Ease on back here and grab these. We'll pull them up, stick them on a yard lead. These Just 3 loaded cars. We're just using the independent. That'll work. Alright, let's knock off the handbrakes. You can do this through this interface, or you can just hit F5 and that will release all handbrakes on your train. No, not that car. Not that car. That car. No, not that car. We'll get her. There we go. So there's another example of a skin that I don't have for a boxcar. I've got, that's either default or I've got the skins for those. I don't remember if I have a boxcar pack. We got one there that I don't. So everything works the same physics-wise, and it'll scale the boxcar to be the right length and it'll be the right weight. The only difference is graphics. All right, let's get on out of here. Grab these other 2 empty coil cars. Pull everything out. Probably the thing to do would be to come back in here empty, now that I'm thinking about it. Bring the engines back in here, pull the empties out, and then stick the loads in. There's not as much room to work back here as I thought there might be. And we've got a bit of a grade to help us slow down. Well, that one's loaded. No, it's not. It's just, it must be a reefer or something. It looks like a boxcar. It's not loaded. Yeah, it's not a reefer. It's just a boxcar, it looks like. I thought if they were empty, they always had their doors open, but that might not be the case. At any rate, it's empty. You can tell by the tonnage. All right, bring her on back. So I did some checking for those 2 engines. I'd have to get, would have to spend $40 for 2 different SD40-2 packs to have skins on those. So I decided not to do that, at least for now. I've got skins for like the stuff I normally run, the GP38s. Don't know that I have any of the SD40-2 packs, so I've just got the default skins for those. That'll do. Clunk. Alright, we'll knock the brakes off. Right on up out of here. See if I can grab this stirrup. Here we go. We should be clear to head all the way out of here, but I'll probably hop up in the engine here in a bit just so we can see what's going on. And we'll keep her at about 10 miles an hour. Ish. What is my... Oh, it is 15 here, but... keeping around 10 is probably a good idea. Let's hop in the cab. There might be enough room to stick those loads there, but I don't know. Does that belong to a company? It looks like that's a loading area. They've got the doors on the buildings. Not that, I mean, it doesn't matter. I can do whatever I want. I'm just trying to kind of think realistically. That actually doesn't have an industry configured. But the empties need to go on a track anyway, so we'll stick them on a track. Okay, you're going. Let me just double check. That's cars for another local. So I want to bring him back on one track or 2 tracks over from this guy, where we'll be heading. So we want to go down that track, I believe. So I can set my counter as we come past here. I believe it is that button. There we go. So this will count down my train length, and I know when I'm past that switch. And we've got a grade crossing down here. Which I think I'm gonna just about reach. Alright, let's pop back to the back of the train. And we do indeed want this switch right here. Bring her all back. And I probably could even kick these cars in there. Too much tension on there. Oh, now we can do it. There we go. Whee! Oh, I didn't bleed the brakes on those, so... Oh no, they don't have anything in the cylinder, so we're good. And we'll throw a handbrake on that. And that will eventually stop. It's the theory. Yeah, that's going on back there. So now we just need to pull up past this switch. And we can drop the loads off. Stare at the side of this car. Of course, we got gravity helping us this time, so we're going to zoom back in there. If I'm riding a car, can I get the external view? Oh, I can't. Look at that. How do I get off of that view? Oh, I can't. Okay. Well, that's good to know. Come back. Start slowing her down a bit. And we came out of that straight, so we're going to stick a couple cars there, and then we'll stick some over on the other track. Just let gravity do the work here. So you can see there that it had a spawn message. I've got AI traffic on. This is single player, although it supports multiplayer. It's got really good multiplayer support. I'm just playing in my own little world here. But there are lots and lots of AI trains around. And I actually loaded almost 800 trains. So a train is defined as any cut of cars, basically. So this world is very full. And if I pop that up, we've got 14. I think that's just AI trains, actually. So 15 trains running over the railroad, and I've got the automatic AI dispatcher taking care of those on the main line, just for background scenery, basically, while I do my own little thing over here on the locals. And I just bought the Cajon and San Bernardino subs. So I've got several hundreds and hundreds more miles of track now, plus the whole LA basin, which is just full of industries like this. And I like doing local switching, so this is perfect. I'll bring up the dispatch screen. We've got all kinds of trains running everywhere. Lots of stuff going on. All right, let's go ahead and hop down. Back here where we can see what's going on. Just ease back in here. I don't think it matters which cars go where. So I may just leave all three of these here. That'll work. Let's run up here and we'll knock a handbrake on this guy. And then we're going to want to shut off the air on here. And you can see I can't open the coupler pin. There's too much tension on it. So since I've got the handbrake set on the car, I'm going to go ahead and release the independent brake on the loco. And they should roll back. Has it got enough of a grade that they'll roll back? There it goes. You can see it just takes that tension off the coupler. Now we can pull the pin. And we're done switching down here. We can get on out of here. And we'll hop back in the cab. So now we've got, I think it's ANT, which is over to the right, over a bunch of these buildings. So let's get back up here, and then we'll take a peek over there. I think there's a track over there you can use for, like, pulling the loads out on and store, and then you're good. So I think we can take the deliveries, the set-outs, back in there and have room to work. But I'll just verify that before we hook up and shove back in there. Now let's get back out of this little part of the yard here. Oh, we're speeding a little bit. Won't tell anybody. It's cool. They got the gyro light reflection on the building. You know, the graphics are pretty simple, but the rolling stock looks good. The tracks look pretty good. The lighting is superb. I don't really care about the lighting. I like all the physics and simulation going on. So those cars I just dropped off, those will get processed. They'll become empties after whatever the period is configured for that industry. And then the cycle continues. Pretty cool stuff. Get on here, past the... Let's go into fly mode here so I can see what I'm doing. So there's the through track, it looks like. Okay. So one track over. I think that track goes out to where we're going. I don't remember for sure. Or no, wait. No, this track goes out to where we're going. We'll get it figured out. Okay, go ahead and throw 10 pounds on there. Let that come to a stop. And yeah, I believe we go out this track. So let's get that opened up. So we just snake our way out through these industries. Let me turn industry tags back on. So you can see there's just industries everywhere down here in this LA basin. I'm not super familiar with LA. I used to go out there for work, but I was always just working. Fly in, you know, take a taxi to wherever and work. That's the downtown LA. Skyline, got the mountains off there, of course. If we sneak back in here, yeah, it's ANT. And I think what we'll do is we'll use this track. So we'll bring the loads back in here. We'll pull these out. We can stick the empties in there, spot the loads, and then grab the empties and head on out. I think that's the plan. Now these coil cars, are these loaded? No, they're empty. So we're pulling empties out of here. Bringing loads in. All right, so we need to grab... I think all of this back to the box cars is all ANT. They're taking in a bunch of steel pipe, it looks like. We've got some ties. Some coil steel. These are loaded, 80 tons. All right, cool. Let's get back to work. I don't know the rules on bells. I assume it's different per railroad. Sometimes I'll ring the bell just for fun. I'm going to buzz back in here. Probably ought to put air in these. They are loaded. That's a decent amount of weight. We'll cut them off from the rest of the train. No need to pumping up the entire train. It's just going to sit there. See those cars I kicked did stop down there, so that's good. Speaking of stopping, I need to quit yapping and start braking. Before I break something. Alright, let me hop off and we'll get on back in here. I have a rail driver, which is like a USB controller with all the stuff on it, but I'm just using a keyboard. It has really good keyboard controls. And I'm used to switching with the keyboard, so it works for me. Alright, we are attached. Let's sprint down here. This is all laced up, right? Yeah, it was all laced up when I started. So what we need to do is close that angle cock and disconnect that and pull the pin. Run back up here. We need to connect that up, partially open that. This is cubic feet per minute of airflow, basically through the engines. And I am in neutral. Let's go ahead and bump up some air pumping. I think the 40-2s have a mechanical air pump. And with the flow rate, we should be able to open that all the way. Not tripping the emergency. Good deal. You're open, you're open. And let's grab a car back here. I've got good brake pipe pressure. You can see the reservoirs are filling up at 76, 74 psi in the auxiliary and the emergency reservoir. So all this air system is modeled for each car. We got retainer valves. You can bleed them. You can cut them in and out. Tons of simulation going on here. So many people get hung up over the graphics and just don't realize what they're missing out on. If you're wanting simulation, Run 8's where it's at. If you just want pretty trains, then this is not for you. There's also no hand holding. Like it's just a sandbox. You do what you want. There's no missions or XP or any of that kind of stuff. Alright, we're looking pretty good. Might go ahead and do a brake test. So we can't inspect the brake shoes. The brake shoes don't actually move on the cars. They're not modeled. So we have this indicator here. I'll probably pull forward a bit just to disconnect from the rest of that train. Let's do that. And let's kick off all the handbrakes. Oh, wait, I was still connected to the other part of the train, so I don't necessarily want to do that. I want this guy to roll away from me. End up rolling out of the yard. Set a few handbrakes on that. I'm not sure. Yeah, it looks like I did release all the handbrakes on that. Okay, so now we got just our train up here. So let's hop in cab. And I'm going to go and do initial set. Actually put the independent brake all the way on so the locos will hold everything in place. And you can see it changed color up here. The bottom bar is air pressure in the brake cylinders of the cars. These two dots are the two locomotives. They're purple because I've got full independent brake on the locomotives. The top bar here is coupler pressure. It will change depending on, push or pull force on the couplers. So we got to get a brake application. Let's go ahead and do another 10 pounds. See, it's getting darker orange. So that is all working as intended. Do a release. Don't have very many cars, so it won't take long to release and pump back up. We are ready to move. As the brakes release here. Yep, looking good. Roll off the independent. Looking good. It's easy to look around too with the keyboard. You can open the windows if you want. We'll keep it nice and quiet in here. You see, we can feel the weight of the train now. We got a bunch of loaded cars back there. Get her up to at least 10 as we come out. I'm going to want to set my counter as we come past this switch. Got 700 and some odd feet of train behind us. ease off on the throttle. Go ahead and use some air to stop. Little late on the brakes. I'm kind of rusty. So I'm going to bebop back to the back of the train there. That switch thrown, and then we've got the other one thrown to go back into the industry, so we're good there. Now going backwards, gravity is going to help us out quite a bit. I'll stop the bell once we get out of this crossing area. So we'll be heading back into there, over to ANT. I'm not sure what ANT stands for. Didn't look that up. I'm going to get some dynamics on here to help hold our speed back. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but it's what we're doing. Let's double check. These switches should be good. So let's grab these coils first. Lock some of that dynamic off as we ease back in here. The other thing you can do is you can save positions. So let's say I want to be using the switch a decent amount, so let's do is it control or shift? Shift 1. There we go. And then control 1 will put me back at that spot. I'll do another one here for a second switch. So shift 2. So if I go control 1, boom. I can just toggle back and forth between those guys. Super handy for when you're doing stuff on your own. Coming on around the corner, I can hear the dynamics. Curve helps us slow down a bit. Go and hop on the stirrup here. It's like we pretty much lose the grade as we get back over here. So we'll come out of dynamics. Pretty flat. Get a couple notches on and give her a little push. And it's all about timing. I'm not very good at timing. Let's go ahead and do our initial set. Keep a little power on as needed. Might have a little bit of a downgrade. Alright, about 2 cars. We're gonna have enough stopping power? I think we're gonna have enough stopping power. Maybe a little too much stopping power. Those cars had their handbrakes on. How close do we get? Plenty of room. We're good. All right, these guys are empty, so I'm just going to pull them out. We've got air on the heavy part of the terrain. So I'm going to hit F5, which will release all the handbrakes. See those cars. Slack rolled out. And then I'm going to pop back up to the switch here. And I'm just going to leave that air set on here if I can. Pull these out a bit. Here's some of the brakes protesting. Only a 6-pound set. Still more to come. There we go. Hey, a little bit of a hill there. Not sure. I thought about kicking him down there, but with that hill, that might get a little dicey. And I realize this video is running pretty long, but hey, if you're still watching, then you like this kind of thing. It's all good. We're not going to do all of the cars, though. I think once we get this A and T here switched, we'll call it a video. Always make it a 2-parter. All right. Get him off the throttle. We'll let that 6 pounds bring us to a stop. They're empty, so I guess they, in theory, would be kickable. Without causing too much of a problem. Try it. How far will they go? It does look like a little bit of a hill there. Oh, it's a road crossing. All right, we'll let them get back down past the road crossing. So just pretend like we're riding on here, ready to crank on the hand wheel. We'll let gravity do the work for us. How much are you going to slow down here? Yeah, I think we'll be fine. I don't get any speed info off this. I just have it selected so I can... All I can really do is hit the handbrakes on it. or cut, you know, adjust the valve. That should be good. Throw a handbrake on that, let it come to a stop. We can get these other empties out. Alright, we still have the 6-pound set. The independent is off, so we can come on back. I think we'll keep around 5 mile an hour. Make this a little more manageable. Alright, let her coast in, and that ought to do it. Bonk. Okay, and release all the handbrakes. Let all the slack settle out. Get on out of here. Oh, I can do the handbrake from this screen, so that'd be the screen to do. Try to just keep that up. Do the same thing. We'll kick these empties down there. We can do our set outs and we'll be all done. How many cars we got down there? Quite a few. Plenty of room up there on the head end. I haven't even got around the curve yet. You do want to be mindful, though, when you're doing this single-handedly, where your engine is. Alrighty, there we go. Let that 6-pound set bring us to a stop. I forgot I had to click there to throw the switch. Let's go back and grab our coupler here. That's the one. We're going to go ahead and open it, so we'll see if it'll stay open. I know in multiplayer, I've seen some streams and stuff. Multiplayer, it's a little trickier with the coupler. Just because you get a little bit of network lag, inevitably, with any game. The single player, it works really well. Alright. Give her a mighty shove. I should still be able to set the handbrake. Though, I might not need to. It's going like, what, 5 miles an hour? Wasn't doing a hard kick. It does work, though. Slow it down, and then I'll just let it drift downhill into those other cars. And we'll call it good. Got a gondola of ties. That is, yeah, it is. All these are A and T. Yeah, these are all A and T. All right, cool. So we'll put those in there. We'll stick the steel coils on the other track. And job's a good one. Isn't that what they say? How many cars can I fit on this track? Quite a few, it looks like. Let's go ahead and hop on the stirrup here. The engine is on a bit of a downgrade. I'm not sure what it's like on this siding right here. But around 5 miles an hour ought to do it. Another car length. Keep on coming. Half a car. It'll do. Set a couple handbrakes and let's go back and look. Do we have enough room to drop all these? Ooh, just barely. It's kind of how it was when we picked up the cars, though. Alright, so we want to, first of all, center the reverser. So I want to close the air on this and then disconnect. And pull the pin. There's those set in place. Give her a little help with the independent here. Where are the actual dots? Pretty much the whole track. Alright, cool. Got distracted. Not good to get distracted when you're switching coil cars. What's that? Oh, it's each end. Weird that there's an A and T there. From my perspective, it looked like it was off in the distance. So I was curious what that was. Alright, that's good. Alrighty, we want to close that off. Pull the pin. Now we just need to grab the empties and we can call this job done. Brake set off. We got one handbrake on there. That should be plenty. Okay, let's go grab some empties. I think that cut could be a little further back, but it's probably a lot closer than it looks. See what it looks like from this perspective. Oh yeah, plenty of room. No problem. I don't know how to get back. Once you're in this view, I don't think you can actually get back to your riding view. Panic stop. Okay. Release all the handbrakes. I believe these are all coupled together. We did get coupled down here. We did. All right. Pull her on out of here. No problem. All right, that'll be it for the part 1. I'll probably do a part 2 where we go do the rest of the terrain. Thanks as always for watching, folks, and take care.